Guests are not responsible for any losses you may accrue for having weekends. Where the haters at? Yeah, bitches still ain't showed up. And now, right, we got Hex, flawless uptime. People thought this was a joke. Now they're mad at the chart. This is Whales Only. Glad you guys can make it out. I'm making some claims that are pretty outlandish, but I can back them up. Boom. End of story. There is no other crypto out there, so don't get it twisted. If you don't understand where you're parking your money, you're gonna pay the consequences for that, and that's just how the cookie crumbles. Boom. We're obliterating everybody, literally. There is nobody else that comes close to what Hex has done. Oh, it's about to get funky. Funkier than you could have ever imagined. You know, Richard Hart is a boss. Hex is literally the best thing on the planet. It's simple mathematics. Right? The reality is that I want to be rich as fuck. There's only one way to be rich as fuck. That's by sitting on your ass the longest.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
That's the secret. The guy well told you. Richard done told you. I done told you. Kareem done told you. Maddie done told you. Everybody done told you. Everybody done told you. Shit, motherfuckers still acting like they don't know. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
100% safe. There's plenty of games left.
Valiant done told you. Yo, everybody said it. I mean, hey, you know what it is, man? Everybody done told you. Y'all's deep. Everybody. My God. Hex agents, bro. Everybody. Australians, man. Everybody gets it. Yo, when is it told you? Dollar told you. Everybody done told you. It's crazy. What up, Hexico? As well as Jay on the check-in, doing a nice little macro stream for y'all.
Midday macro.
A little midday
That's
macro.
What we call that.
Yeah, a little, not a midish May macro, because we missed midish May. Shout out to Papa B, but a midday macro. So we were just having this conversation, and it was basically a stream, and we were like,
for like 2 hours.
Yeah, for like 2 hours. And we're like,
in the green room.
Stream. Yeah. So here
we
are.
Middle of the fucking night for me.
Right.
So we figured we'd bring you guys in on it.
Yeah. So you know what? We might as well let these unsuspecting folks know.
Mm-hmm.
So
that intro hits hard though, bro.
Yes.
Like what hits hard about that first intro is all the memes that are like the printer go burr, the guy picking up all the Chinese yen at the fucking thing. All of that is like so perfect of what's going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then the whole point of that intro is that like Hex is going to be the last thing. It's the last lighthouse that still operates.
It is
still
lighthouse.
Works. Yeah, like you want to call it the last lighthouse, the only one, whatever, right? Whatever frame fits your boat. But it is the lighthouse, and the light is still on. And what's going to eventually happen, and this is what we were talking about for a long time in the green room, is that there's going to be all of these dominoes that fall. And then finally there's going to be this huge domino that falls. And it's because people will have no fucking choice because it'll be the only thing left. And even if they hate everything about it, they're going to have to just put their tail between their legs, buy it, and talk about it.
Damn, that sounds familiar. If only somebody had been saying that for the past 18 months. Holy shit.
Yeah, shout out to Alan for finding that fucking clip of you calling out Celsius on your second stream, right?
Yeah.
Damn, dude.
Yo,
right
thanks
there.
for finding that, because I really didn't even know that's where it was. I knew it was somewhere, but it was no way in hell I was going to find it. So shout out to you, brother. Thank you for the super chat, too.
That's a huge clap, by the way. Like second stream in.
Yeah.
Nobody knows who Wales is. Nobody gives a fuck who Wales is right now. And and you're out there clapping cheeks at fucking Celsius that early on.
Right. Mm-hmm. and the best part was I had never heard of it before. I literally had looked at it only then. And all I had to do was read what the claim was. Too easy.
Yeah.
Had seen it before. We call that BitConnect 1.
Yes.
And nobody, and I waited and waited and waited. And guess what? It's been like a solid 2 weeks of straight defaults all over the space.
Yeah.
And not a single furu, not a single streamer anywhere in the fake crypto space has called out the obvious. That all of this shit is just a rehash of BitConnect. Why I gotta tell y'all everything? Y'all out here watching
BitConnect 2.0.
Yeah. Everybody's out here watching all these other furus, trying to engage them on Twitter and all this dumb shit, trying to get these people to understand Hex. Stop wasting your time talking to morons, folks.
Yeah, stop it. And I can tell you, like, what's so funny about this, seeing this happen again, is I can tell you how it feels and what exactly it looks like and intimate details of it, because I got to live through this in the first crash. Well, not the first crash, but the crash of 2017, essentially. Right. So when the rug was pulled on BitConnect and USI Tech and all these other sites and whatnot, like, you're in such a state of delirium, because not only did I lose hundreds of thousands of dollars fucking instantly, but so you got all the losses, but like you're not even really present. You're not even calculating what the fuck just happened. And I can guarantee you that most of these YouTubers, because they're running so fast, most of these influencers, because they're running so fast, have still not even begun to process what the fuck just happened. So that's why we can so easily, so clearly point at these things and laugh, and just like, because they're in such a spun around state of delirium that they don't even know what the fuck the actual truth is yet. And they're fighting through the layers of like acceptance still. Like, this happened. Okay, it's going to be like, no, it's 20K support. No, it's going to bounce back. Oh, man, it's going to rip to 60 again. Oh, no, it's going to, right? Like, they're still making up stories because they haven't dealt with reality yet.
Nope.
And we're just over here chilling.
Everybody is still hopeful. And hope.
We're just over here chilling still.
Is not a strategy.
Yes.
It's not a strategy. 100%. You can't predicate anything based on that. It's like when I was talking about that $10 hex call. Everybody missed everything I was saying surrounding that exact number, except for the fact that it was $10.
Yes.
Nobody ever heard all of the crap I said prior to or after in regards to what it would take to actually get it to $10. People just presumed, oh, $10, okay. That's it. It either happens or he's wrong. Like, nah, you dumbass. That's literally not how it works.
And what timeline are we operating off of? Because when you make predictions like that in calls, like, the worst thing you can do is put a timeline on it.
Correct.
If you're going to say stuff like that, just no timeline, which is how you do it.
Right.
And it's because it's like you can't control those factors. So it's like I might be breaking down math or something like that, and like understand that there's still the variable of people inside of that. And so whatever people are going to do, people are going to do. So it might be next week. It might be fucking 20 years from now. Who knows? Does it matter?
Not really.
I mean, not really. Most of us staked out fucking maximum anyways. I don't give a shit about anything until like 14 years from now.
So what happens? Well, that highlights A, the plebs in the community, B, the furus within the community, and C, the losers that are hard of hearing and are hard of analyzing and can't think or listen straight. Because guess what? All they had to do was go back to all the streams where they've ever heard me say $10 and they could have figured it out. But no.
Yeah.
People prefer to cry, oh, Wales, you were wrong about that $10 call.
We got him. We finally got him.
Well, yeah. We finally got you. You were wrong about that $10 call. Okay, you got me. Good job. Good for you. Dumb motherfuckers. Like, bro, come on, man. Like, this is what people are doing in 2022, acting like they have a clue. But yet, they're the ones sucking Celsius's dick, sucking 3 Arrows Capital dick, sucking all the dicks that they can, because that's the trend. Meme coin this, NFT that. Meanwhile, they're all doing what? Getting motherfucking wrecked.
Real,
yes.
Dude. And it's only because the only reason why they're sucking that dick is because what they're really saying is they're saying, please don't let the ride stop. Please let the merry-go-round keep going. Please, 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 please. So, okay, I gotta be a fan of Sam. Okay, even though I don't like the motherfucker. Okay. So I gotta buy Soul. I gotta support Soul. Okay, I'll do it. Just don't let the ride stop, please. I gotta make back the 100K, the 20K that I just lost. That's all that is.
Yep.
It's pathetic.
And it's sad because what happens? You get wrecked. And guess what? Mashinsky ain't there to save your ass. Nobody is
No.
there to save your ass. None of these central banks, none of these centralized entities are there to help you. They're there to take from you. And we've been explaining this, and not just me, not just Jay. Hell, RH has been telling you motherfuckers this since 2017.
Mm-hmm.
And motherfuckers still don't know. They still don't listen. They still don't want to respect the facts.
Because it's some cold truths. That's right. But I mean, that's
Right.
not anyone on this stream. Like the people that have
Yeah,
followed
nah, it's
you and
not.
the people that
It's
follow whales are a different fucking breed of Hexican. I will say
correct.
that.
Yeah, I'm not
Different
talking to you
motherfuckers.
guys. I'm pointing out the fools you see on Twitter, the clowns you see on Twitter, all the losers you see on Twitter.
Yeah.
And I'll take it under consideration there, Briz. I gotta work on my vocal cords to do that. I don't know if I can pull that.
That'd be painful, dude.
Yeah,
To
I
do a whole
don't know.
stream like that.
Yeah. What
All
up,
right, I
Moon?
got that. I got that chart up too. If you want
Oh
to.
yeah, you okay?
Bring that up.
So let's set up the ambiance.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, for the past 18 months, I've been trying to get people to understand that there is no future in fiat. It does not matter what you want to think, believe, say, or do, period. And here's something that I didn't realize that Steve Buscemi did. Hey, here's this chart that highlights this very exact point that you've been talking about, but we haven't been able to show them comprehensively to date, because all I've done is say it and show the interest rate underlying that fact. But it's hard for people to wrap their head around that if they can't see a composite point of view. And I think that that's what this chart brings to the table. So let's pull that chart up and let's even get ourselves out of the way, because I really want people to see this chart and try to understand what it's saying. Now, if you guys have sat through one of these macro streams before, you've heard me highlight what happened prior to the 1980s, into the 1980s, and thereafter. And you see in this chart from 1960, 65, all the way through early 1980s, it's a straight one-way shot north with a little volatility, right, during the oil embargo and all that stuff, and the Vietnam and all that. All those things that happened during that time, because you had a reset happen during this point in time. That's literally what happened here. Now, after all this inflation hit, you see this new central bank president come into play for the U.S., Paul Volcker. And as you can see here on the top during that point, war on inflation is the narrative. Now, was it really war on inflation? No, it wasn't. That's just what the narrative was. Because if you look at the value of your dollar today, and we're talking Federal Reserve notes, we're not even talking real dollars. We're talking about their Federal Reserve notes. Now, these fake units of account that are just paper bought a shit ton of things back in that day relative to today, but not relative to that point in time. So what does that mean? Well, back then, $20 bought X amount of stuff. But prior to that point in time, it bought $20 worth of stuff plus some more, because the dollar was actually the dollar before this point in time. But after the reset happened, what happened is that the purchasing value of that dollar became a $20 bill minus every little bit possible over time. And that's what this chart is showing you. This is why that line that you're seeing here, it's real assets versus financial assets. Now, what this means is all of the real assets, real estate, commodities, collectibles, all these things that are in your hand, tangible items of value, they have been papered over and papered over and papered over to the point that if you look at this in a ratio aspect and you're doing 10 real asset items divided by 10 financial asset items, well, that's actually become 10 divided by 100 or 10 divided by 1,000. And this is exactly why this line is at the lowest it's ever been in its history. And this is essentially highlighting the hyper financialization that's occurred over the past 40, 50 years. This is what I've been trying to get you guys to understand. This chart is essentially showing you the value of the dollar versus real assets. And if you consider the starting point as $1 relative to where we are today, I mean 95, 96, 97% drop. That's what this chart is showing you. So if you think you're vying for fiat units of account moving forward, you're a fool. And this is the chart that shows that outside of an interest rate chart. Because this chart is letting you know that the financial system is broken because it's overweight, it's bloated, and that line being all the way over there is the same thing as a fat person stepping on your back, not getting back up. You're fucked.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so much to extrapolate off of this. I mean, you got the perfect Wall Street cheat sheet in here, this whole pattern and formation, and now we're gonna come here and probably swoop and start to make some new pattern and come up, which is in perfect timing with probably the collapse of most financial the entire financial system in terms of fiats are going to go away completely, and it's going to be these CBDCs. So it's not a coincidence that this is perfect timing. And just like what we've seen since, I mean, the ivory trade, the beginnings before fiat currencies existed, is that people figured out a way to manipulate and extract value that they then took and bought real shit with, while you were left holding the bag of the fake shit. This just happened again in crypto. So you're now holding a bunch of worthless JPEGs and a bunch of fucking dumb shit. And it's funny to see the NFT market completely eat itself, because it's what it deserves. And so you have that happen all over again, but it's the same pattern that's happened over and over and over throughout history, is that the barons came in and figured out a way to make the ivory cheaper and flooded the market in Africa with those things, took that money and bought real shit with it, gold, land, etc., boats, real stuff. And they owned the land that those people then lived on. And they still do to this day, because you never get rid of a real asset, ever. Which is why you never sell your fucking HEX, ever. You hold it for as long as you possibly fucking can. Why? Because it's a real motherfucking asset. You see the difference here, guys? So it's the same pattern over and over and over again. They did it with ivory. They did it with fiat. They're doing it over and over again with crypto. Rinsing motherfuckers for trillions of dollars. Rinsing them. Walking away with what? The real fucking juice. You're getting the pulp. You're getting the fucking, the seeds. You're getting the
Scraps,
the skin, the scraps of that thing. They're walking away with the fucking juice, getting all the energy, all the power, all the clout, all the bitches. Whatever.
Literally.
Insert whatever you want.
Yeah,
they're walking away with that, dude,
they're
and laughing at you.
They're literally
laughing at you.
I mean, there's a meme. You guys haven't seen the meme? It's all them old guys that are just standing in that room laughing. And yeah, they're laughing at you. Whether you want to believe it or not is irrelevant, but they definitely are, because who's the one buying their shit, buying their story, buying their narrative? All the fools that are out here looking for units of fiat. All the fools that are believing that, no, my returns are measured in dollars. Are they? Then why do these people, these families, these entities own everything but dollars? Yep. Interesting, no?
Yep. What's the first thing that they wanted to do with Bitcoin? Get it on the exchange, man. You got to get it on exchange. Make it real. Why? So that they could denominate it in motherfucking dollars, so that they could begin to steal your money. Bitcoin was doomed a long fucking time ago. Long time ago. The minute it got denominated in fucking dollars, it was done.
Pretty much.
Let that sink in. Let that sink in. The minute that we all accepted that it should be paired up against this worthless fucking dog shit, it lost.
Pretty much. And what's happened since then? It's been co-opted in so many different ways and forms that people don't even know what's left from right. I mean, we're out here trying to educate people on what cryptocurrency is, and they don't have a clue, but yet they've been in the space
5 years, 6 years, 4 years, 2. I mean, if you're in this space a week, you should know what a cryptocurrency is.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm not sure what you're doing here. And so many are in that bucket that they really don't know. They think it's about, oh, but this project is cool and these people are cool and all this shit and all that. And you know what? I hear you, man, but that shit literally means not a motherfucking thing.
It doesn't. It really doesn't. Um, yeah, and there's a lot of different directions we could take this, but it's like every single cycle now, the thing that I'm noticing, which is really concerning, is that the amount of pessimism that's growing, the optimism is slowly dying out as banker version 2.0 is being rolled out and instituted, which is now everything that you see that they call crypto is just fucking the banker's next solution. That's what's going to take the next cycle up, the next huge melt up that everyone, gets rich on paper in. That market is being formed right now.
Right.
And then what's going to happen is the same fucking thing that just happened again. Nobody sold at 69. Nobody.
That's right.
Nobody sold at $69,000. Call your cousin, call your brother that you had get into it at fucking 2,000. They didn't fucking sell. Nobody sold. But you know who did? The fucking bankers sold.
That's right. That's right. Now, to answer this before you continue, everything is measured in USD because the whole space has been co-opted. So that's a moot point.
Yeah. And you got no choice. You got no choice at this point.
So,
and I don't personally have a better way of like, okay, so then if you didn't exchange at all, how do people get onboarded? They would just be within the system. So people who had HEX, who got it from the beginning, like this is how Bitcoin started. Let's explain this. How Bitcoin started in the beginning is he handed this stuff out to a handful of people. And so the only way it got moved around is if those handful of people then shared it or exchanged it as a mechanism of value with others. So understand, like we could do that too with HEX, and it could have done that, but it would have taken that much longer for it to grow. So there's a side small benefit of allowing that exchange piece. And the biggest part of it is that it's what everyone's used to already. So give them what they're used to. It's like give them what they claim they want while giving them what they actually need. It's that formula all over again, right? So yeah, it's kind of like a necessary part of this, but like it's quickly evolving out of that. There's things happening in the background, okay? But what you're seeing in front of your face is that the next step of this and the next phase is Pulse. So then it's got a network to work on and to operate in. And so it's one step closer to becoming an isolated, sovereign financial stack that has nothing to do with fucking legacy banking. It's getting there, but you can't roll this shit out overnight because first off, I struggle to still comprehend of what that's going to do, what that's going to mean, what that's going to be like. Like when you're rolling out something that's that revolutionary, you got to kind of take your time with some of this shit.
Yeah, it's not easy. Right, like we've been at this for a long time, and it's over time that we figured out a lot of the things that we're helping people learn to date. It's not like it's in front of your face, and it's not in front of your face on purpose. In fact, just to remember what we started talking about in the green room, Steve. We were highlighting how nobody is financially ready, educated, or anything in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah,
whatsoever, and this is kind of what leads to all of this misunderstanding and lack of knowledge and whatnot. People just don't know anything. I mean, people don't know how to open up a bank account. They don't know how to balance their books. They don't even know how to control their expenses. And this is why they're out here trying to chase quick flips. And this is why they get wrecked. Fact.
Which, I mean, for as much as it's a downside, like, okay, yes, in the education, if they actually cared about you, they would have these classes, they would have this training, this teaching, which is why private families and multi-generational wealthy families do this, and they don't put their kids in public schools, is because they do teach those things. But to not teach those things and have people overcome that is a pretty good shit test, if you ask me, because what it proves is that it's only going to be a certain amount of people who ever even get above that level. And so then it's like, as you're getting above these levels, you're changing as a human being. So they're almost like built-in forced growth mechanisms without you realizing it. And they suck and they're unfair. Yes, of course. That's the whole point. So it's only there for the people who want to fucking see it. Just like, I mean, you could bring that back to HEX again. It's like, it's there. It's been operating at just the way that it did from day one. It's still paying out 38% right now, APY, and everyone just lost their ass on Bitcoin yield generating farms and BlockFi and Celsius and Voyager and CoinFlex and all these others who are now insolvent and going bankrupt. And so like, yeah, like give it time. Those people, like at the end of the day, we were talking about this as well in the green room, is that like right now people are still picking through the rubble. Give it time. But what's eventually going to happen, whether they like it or not, is that they're going to have no choice but to say, this thing is still over here running, still doing exactly what it said it was going to do. I fucking hate it. I don't like this guy. I don't like that guy. I don't like the colors, whatever. But they're going to have no choice but to buy it. And then eventually they're going to overturn, and they're going to become excited that they bought it, or something's going to happen. And then they're going to start publicly talking about it. Those will be the last dominoes to fall, is when you see like the big quote unquote crypto influencers and they're making videos about Hex. That'll be one of the last dominoes to fall.
Yep, and I called that a long time ago, because what are my two favorite words? No fucking choice. Now, to talk about this comment here, like I hear you, brother, but if you haven't watched, I think it might have been my third previous stream to this one, we need to play both sides of the line, because guess what?
Always.
Them fiat dollars aren't going to buy shit for you and your fam here pretty soon. So you better figure it out, because the people that give you those units of fiat don't give a fuck about you, don't give a fuck about your family, and they don't give a fuck about anybody, because it's their shit to fuck you with. And this is why crypto matters. This is why crypto exists. So yes, while you still have to use fiat to survive, you better understand that you got to be prepared for the next level, because they don't give a fuck. They're going to just rip the cord on you, and you're going to be left holding a fat bag of worthless shit. So think twice.
Yeah, so I don't like that frame, because it's really cheap for everybody involved. The listener, the person who said it, and I get it. I get that frame, but let's dissect that a little bit. Okay, you have to look at this in terms of like stages of security, of protection, correct, of feeling good. And so there's all kinds of pieces in this. There's and I don't want to get too deep into this, but there's being stocked up on.
It's an important topic, right?
There's being stocked up on food, having cash on hand, having a bug out bag, having a bug out plan, having a bug in plan, having an alternate location, alternate destination, rehearsing planning with your family, having these deep, difficult conversations with your family and extended family, talking about how you would deal with these certain situations that might occur. But at the same time, we're also playing a 15-year fucking play on Hex. Or if you're doing the staking ladder, who knows what you've got going there, right? But you're also playing that piece. Maybe you are involved in real estate and physical, real assets, rather, commodities, etc. So like, it's not just one thing. That's the cheapness in a comment like that. And I'm not trying to like jump on you or nothing, but the cheapness in that comment is that you're trying to make it like this all or nothing conversation. Right.
And it's not.
We can't have that conversation, because there is no all or nothing. All of these are little upticks. They're little pieces of a complete puzzle. And that puzzle is going to vary based on you, your family size, your family demographic, where you are. All of those things are completely up to you. I'm just giving you like the general pieces that together start to make a picture. That's how you have to look at this. So you're playing both sides. You're playing, I got to feed my shit today and 20 years from now.
Correct.
And everything in between.
Not a choice.
That's the challenge.
Yeah, it's not a choice. And that's kind of the hard part. And again, it's not to beat on you or anything, but it's just a specific thought process. It needs to be highlighted on why you have to kind of straddle both sides, because you know, we don't have control of what's going to happen to the financial system. We can only control the crypto, because we know what it is, we verify what it is, and that's a fact. All that other shit, we can't verify it. We can't do anything with it. We can't say it's valuable. All we know is that it's valueless based on definition, and that's ultimately all we have.
So I'll say this to kind of wrap up on this point, is that, okay, if you're feeling anything other than secure or okay with what's going on, you need to start asking internal questions. So like these thought processes, these are almost insecurities. And what they're breeding on is they're breeding on our lack of plan. So like it's
lack of knowledge, really, right? Because
that too.
Yeah, nobody's really financially literate. This is why we do these streams and whatnot. We have to educate whoever wants to learn, just like we educated ourselves.
Yeah, so it's like it's the gun under the pillow. We were talking about this, like it's that safety piece. And all of these are little tiny guns under the pillow. And that's the best example I've got, because it's like everyone knows what that'd feel like to have that piece of security right there. Like, okay, I at least got something right here if somebody steps up and tries, right? So it's the same thing. And so all of these play into that. And you notice, like, these are so good for your mental health too, man. I'm telling you guys, these little pieces go a long way, because then you're just like, okay, well, this, I probably will never need to use it. It'll probably never happen. I don't care. I've got it. Right? That's what all this is. So like the first day you staked HEX, how good did you fucking feel? Because you knew deep down inside that you just ticked a box on a 15-year plan, a 10-year plan, whatever you ended up doing. You just ticked that box. So you felt good for like at least the next hour. You walked around a little bit taller than before. Like, it's the same shit. That's all we got to keep doing. All of these are our building blocks, and we have to use these tools. And to the comment that said this is probably the best comment I've seen so far. He said, man, real assets are looking cheap right now. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yes, sir, they are.
That's the whole point.
Yep.
Is this the one? Real assets are cheap. If you look at that graph, growing some food looks like a good decision. That's right.
Yeah. And that's that. Okay. There's a reason why Bill Gates been buying up fucking farmland, dude.
Yep. Why do you think he's the biggest? He's the biggest farmland owner probably in the world at this point.
He is, yeah, he is. He's actually, like, his holdings surpass governments, surpass everything that in the United Kingdom. I don't know if you guys know this, but every piece of land is actually owned. Every part, every square fucking inch is owned by somebody or some entity. Like, it far surpasses countries' holdings, government holdings, worldwide. And he's a one, he's a private person, one entity. So
how about that?
And it's because, and so what has he been doing? Okay, again, this is the ivory trade all over again, guys. We can make so many corollaries to this. This is literally him offloading the fake shit, the dog shit, right? Little Wolf of Wall Street for you. The dog shit on unsuspecting people, us buying it, while he's taking the thing that he's getting from that trade and that exchange, and he's buying the real assets with it.
That's right. And what is he dumping?
Been selling his stocks, yes, his shares, and buying real assets with it.
That's right. And guess what he's not keeping? Fiat. Oh my God.
Not keeping any of that shit.
Like, he's not even keeping
his own. He's not even keeping his own fucking stocks. He's literally just using that as a means to churn and get out of that so that he can buy more real assets.
That's right. It's very important that you guys understand that point that was just made. It doesn't
Farmville for real.
Yeah, it doesn't get any more serious than this. Now, a year ago, I did a stream letting everybody know what was coming, and people thought I was like being what's the word that they use? What's the fucking word that they use for people? Like a prepper or whatever, or, whatever dumb word.
Yeah, doomer, right?
I don't fucking know, bro. Yeah, doom and gloom. There you go. That's good enough. Yeah, people thought I was being doom and gloom, but they feeling real dumb right about now because their asses aren't prepared. They're not ready. They haven't been buying food. They haven't been buying nothing, and they're like, "Holy fuck! Now I can't afford shit." That's right. Yep. Now you got to pick between investing in crypto and buying food, motherfucker. Your ass should have been listening last year.
And even right now, like, okay, so just to make the point again, when's the best time to grow a tree?
There you go. Doomsday prepper. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. When's the best time to grow a tree? 20 years ago or today?
That's right.
So it's the same thing. It's like you still have, imagine this. What if you don't even in the future have the availability to buy these things and to make these kits and these bags and this and that's? What if you don't even have the ability to do that in the future? So now is always a great time to get started on any part of this, land, commodities, food, whatever the fuck part of this you want to grab and run with. But it's always a good time to start, man. Always a good time. You got no stakes? Today's a good day to open that first fucking stake.
Yep. Same difference.
It's the same shit, dude. It's the same shit. So, like, do it while you can. That's the thing I'll say. Do it while you can.
I mean, I've talked about this before. In markets, the path to success comes from doing things when you can, not when you have to. Yes. Because if you have to, it's already too late and somebody else already beat you to it.
Yeah. 100%. And when things escalate, like right now, you're going to always fall back on your level of training. You're taught this in the military. You're taught this. Fuck. I mean, that's like reiterated over and over again. You fall back on the level of training. That's why they train so high with so much pressure, is because they're trying to squeeze, they're trying to craft, they're trying to shape the diamond, right? To keep the best shit. So that way, when shit hits the fan, you perform. Yes, and you perform at the highest possible level. That's how. This is the game we're in now, guys. Whether you like it or not, it doesn't really matter. Nobody gives a fuck. Correct. They definitely don't. So it's like our practice and what we're doing is our entire plan. It's pieces of the plan. It's staying sharp like streams like this. It's understanding the depth of what's occurred over the last 100 years, what we're up against, right? It's all those things. That is the sharpening of the blade.
It's constant too, right? Because what happens every day? New crap gets thrown at us all day, all night.
Even within Hex, Hex, there's new crap getting launched all the time. Hex is down, so let me go get excited about this fucking whatever meme coin or this thing over there. Right. I'm not going to name names because I'm not trying to dog on any project. But I'm just saying,
the basis. It's just the fundamental thought.
Yeah, Hex is down, so let me try and get my money worth over here. Or again, it's like that monkey brain response triggers again, and we go and we jump on this thing over here. Oh, I still love Hex, but I want to make some money or fill in the blank excuse, right? There's a ton of people telling themselves that shit right now. I still love Hex, but delete everything I just said and insert bullshit here.
Literally. Because everything, so what happens? Whenever you hear a statement like that and a but comes, everything before that but is automatically null and void.
Yeah, delete.
And that's life. You like that is never gonna be not true, because that's just how it works. Because it was just relayed in that fashion. I really love Hex. Hex is the best, but
it's down.
Imagine
it ain't paying me.
Yeah. Imagine not understanding the very base level of what you must understand in order to be in any investment, any trade. And that's, what is this thing? What does it do? Why does it do it? Why am I buying this? These are questions you got to have answered. If you don't have them answered before you put your money down on the table, well, you're already lost.
Yeah, because you're going to do some dumb shit, man. When the pressure starts to build and mount, you're going to do some, like we see it every day. That's the panic. Like that's that panicked emergency end stake where they ended up with $0. Like all day long, people scratching their heads. Other hexicans making fun of them, scratching their heads, saying, "What the fuck is wrong with this guy? Why would you even do that?" You don't get it. He's not thinking clearly. That person's not thinking clearly. They're in such a state of panic and fight or flight that they literally just did that to themselves.
Yep. Now, what happens over time, right? When you consistently do that, where you're not really fully understanding what you're doing with your money. Well, what happens is that you think you're smarter than the market, and you start making all these additional moves, just like Steve just said, that you think are going to outperform the market. But what happens? Well, the reality is that, yeah, sure, you might hit a couple licks here and there, but you better believe you're going to take a couple hits here and there as well, because that's how markets work. It gives and it takes. Now, people like us that aren't wasting our time looking at crap, guess what's going to happen to our portfolio? It's going to go in one direction this whole time.
Yeah.
Because we're just staying focused on what works.
Yeah.
And that is something that works 24/7, 365.
Protocol hasn't changed, guys. I woke up today, and guess what? It's doing the same shit it did yesterday and the day before and the day before. So, and I get it, like committing to a 15-year timeline. Holy shit, dude. Like, I don't even think most people from a marriage standpoint think of it like that. Like, they're kind of like, this is forever, but they're still thinking like, I could get out of this if I want to, right? Like, it's not really forever, right? And that's why so many people, when like the depth of the reality of like, oh shit, like one vagina for the rest of my life, like this shit's forever. That's why you see so many men turn into bitches and freak out. Is because they actually haven't thought through the commitment that they are literally standing up about to go and do. The day of, they start to think. So how is this any different? How is investing in the stock market, which is just a glorified casino at this point, how is that any different? We're so far away from fundamentals and fucking roadmaps and marketing teams, talking crypto for a second. We're so far away from that.
Yeah. All that
that
shit
we're
is
at
irrelevant.
pure speculation, degenerative fucking gambling. And that's why you see another thing that repeats in every single cycle is there'll be a ton of people who get rich on paper, but they give it back to the casino.
Mm-hmm.
They give it right back. I was there. I did it. I can tell you all about how that fucking feels.
Yep.
It takes months to
Same
even
here.
come down to the truth of what just happened with yourself. Sometimes some people will never, ever go down to that place. And they will try and revenge trade and get it all back and end up in a worse position. How many times you heard a story like that? They revenge traded and now they're $500K in a hole. Their wife is about to leave them. Their family is destroyed.
Frequent.
Over and over and over and
Common,
over
in
again.
fact. Not frequent, but common.
Yeah, man. Like this is the cycle. This is what we're trying to give you. We're trying to give you the macro outlook of the entire fucking game. And you just it's the same pattern. It's the same deep structure over here in fucking tennis as it is over here in finance.
Right.
It's the same shit, dude.
Literally. I mean, it's kind of crazy because it goes back to the bare basics of just knowing how to even balance a checkbook. I mean, what is that? That's accounting for your expenses and your cash flows, your positive cash flows.
In and out.
In and out. And most people don't realize that trading or investing is the same thing. You have to account for your losses. This is where your wins come into play. If you're not winning, well, then you're just strictly losing.
Yeah.
And that ain't doing nothing for your portfolio. It ain't doing nothing for your bank account. It ain't doing nothing for your net worth. And this is why we preach, stick to what works, concentrate your bets, pick the things you know work. I mean, this isn't a bet. It's just how we speak, right? Because this is how we're used to speaking.
That's the lingo.
Yeah, it's just the lingo. And, you have to allocate your capital intelligently, not like a dumbass. You want to have a speculation bag, knock yourself out. But once that bag goes to zero, it should stay there. You shouldn't keep filling that bucket up because what does that tell you? It tells you you're a shitty ass trader. You don't know what you're doing when you're speculating. You should probably fucking stop. But some people don't. And that's what gets people wrecked permanently. Right? To the point where they're out of the game for years because they can't even recover quick enough. Because they've been avoiding all other financial responsibilities. I mean, this is how it works. I've seen it. This
is no different than a drug addiction, guys.
Yeah, it's not.
And the bankers are the drug dealers.
That's right. It's the same thing. And what are they dealing? Hopium. And all you motherfuckers are buying it with pump and dumps.
And they're showing up, and trust me, they put on a good fucking show, don't they? They show up in a suit, 3-piece suit. Ooh, looking fresh, freshly shaven, fucking trimmed up, smelling
all that
good.
fancy shit that RAs be posting. Because what do you think he's trying to do? Get the suckers over here so they can stop being suckers. But that's a hard angle to play, and that's why he does it.
It is, man.
I would never play that
hard
angle.
edge. It's a hard edge to play because, again, it's giving them what they think they want while delivering what they need.
Yeah, exactly.
What they need.
It's that Steve Jobs move, but different.
Yeah.
Because this is entirely different. This is entirely different.
Yeah, just a different angle of the same exact game. So he's over there playing drug dealer on the corner, and he's got his playing pimp, however you want to correlate this, right? He's got his hose out in the street.
That's right.
And he's trying to get more customers in the door.
That's it. All day. That's what the flash and dash is all about. And a lot of people, it's crazy how so many people still don't get it. It's funny to see people questioning what he's doing still. It's like, yo, how stupid are you? Are you just not paying attention? But a lot of people are just not paying attention.
Like, hey, man, Hex is great, but like, come on, bro, like, just chill out with all this stuff, man. Like, you're making me look bad. You're making my investment look bad.
It's crazy. It is crazy. But that's the kind of thing that, it just shows you who understands cryptocurrency and who doesn't.
Yeah, those responses speak to the level of understanding.
That's right.
Right.
Or the lack thereof.
Right. Which is why, like, Alan, I think it was Alan that was saying he was going back through every single stream. Like, congratulations to you, bro. That's because I guarantee you, every single stream that you rewatch, you will take away something completely different than what you took away the first time.
Yep.
That is a good book, a great book, I would argue. That is a great stream is when you can come back to something and read it over and over and over again, watch, listen, whatever, fill in the blank, and you can take away something different based on your current emotional state. You're going to walk away with something different.
Literally.
That's fucking value right there.
Yep.
Actual value.
And it's hard to beat that, right?
Yeah,
because what are we all trying to do? You know, we're all trying to be not guessing, even though we don't realize that that's what we're trying to be. But to get to that point, it takes so much work because we don't really know what we're supposed to do financially. We don't. And this is why coming into this game and trying to learn how to make money is impossible for most, because the average person is financially illiterate.
Yes. That's why crypto YouTube exists. That's why
right.
crypto personal, YouTube personal finance exists.
Think
about that for a second. Why the fuck are you listening to some random people on the internet about what you should be doing with your money? Because you don't know.
That's right.
You never taught. You should not be listening to us. You should not be listening to fucking anybody about what you should be doing with your money.
That's funny.
I'm sorry, but
it's true.
Like, no, we should have 0 views. And all those fucking guys getting millions of views. It's like, and again, so okay, they're not the banker wearing the suit. What are they doing? They got the 4K camera. They got the fucking RGB in the background.
They got the $10,000 studio setup and shit.
Yeah, they got that cool lamp in the background that they all got now. That's what they're doing. They got the car in the background. They're talking to you up close, real close to the camera because they're your fucking buddy, right?
They're
giving you, like, they're whispering in your ear.
Value.
They're whispering in your ear about this great idea they got. Come on, dude.
It's crazy, man.
They're just, a different shade of a drug dealer. Same shit, though, man. So, again, tell me how this deep structure and this pattern that we just laid out for you once again ain't being played out over and over and over again in every market and every niche on the fucking planet. It's everywhere.
It's everywhere. And the funny thing is I've been, for the past, 12 months, 14 months, since April 2021, when Bitcoin first topped out, we've been explaining and highlighting what is actually happening in real terms in the market, not monetarily, but in real terms, meaning the sentiment, the narrative, how people are getting tricked to coming into the market, who's actually leaving the market. Because how do we go sideways for a whole year? Matter of fact, let me pull up a chart.
Yeah, let's pull it up. Get rid of this. Let me stop sharing. Because this is a really great point, by the way. We talked about this till ad nauseum.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably one of the most important points that can be made, because I've tried to help people understand this, and it's hard to understand. I get that, but it's a must, because it literally determines everything that you're about to go through in the near term, whether you like it or not.
So if Bitcoin was the future, which is what all the Bitcoin maxis were telling you, get your bags now, rocket ship moon, we're never going to see 20K again, blah, 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 fill in the blank, right? If that was the ultimate fight and hedge against inflation, then why the fuck did it take a year through some of the hardest times we've ever seen in how many generations, an inflation we haven't seen in 40 years, but it took 12 months, and now we are coming down and hitting rock bottom as inflation is hitting all-time highs. How? Why? Because it's not a fucking hedge against inflation.
Much.
It is the fucking dollar reincarnate. It pumps with the dollar. It pumps with equities. It pumps with every single other piece of shit speculation that exists.
Simple as that.
Because it's not a hedge. It's not the ultimate fucking solution to all the world's problems. Bitcoin doesn't fix this. It doesn't fix a fucking thing.
Not at all.
Those people are delusional fucking retards.
Yeah, it's pretty funny, isn't it?
Because they're still saying it. Like, this is what's mind-blowing. They're still saying the same shit. Bitcoin fixes it. Shut the fuck up.
Still. Isn't that shit crazy?
Yeah, my kids are fucking starving. Shut up. Jesus Christ, dude.
Yo, it's sick. It's honestly sick.
It's sick. These people are fucking sick, dude.
So here's the Bitcoin top. April, blah, blah, blah. Now, I just want to highlight one top to the point where I said, this is it. The market is never going to come back. Because I got a tweet. I tweeted it. And what was the tweet in reference to? It was a reference to a comment that was made publicly by some entity. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it don't matter. Because once you learn how the game works, it doesn't actually matter. All you need to know is the context of the message. And I called it RH called it to the day when it happened last year. I called that shit to the fucking minute when the tweet came out. So chew on that one. Because you can go look.
There's some tall tale indicators, like
it's all about sentiment.
It was the same shit being said. And it's like you get this feeling, you know, if you had been through 2017 and that you kind of start to get this feeling in your stomach like, oh fuck, I think we're topping again. Yep. You know what I mean? Because it's different people, it's different message, but it was the same sentiment. It's the same sentiment
every time.
Never fails. Another interesting point about this 12 months of it taking to hit an all-time high. What were all the bankers telling you during this time?
Buy.
What was JP Morgan telling you? What was Wells Fargo, Bank of America, 100K, 250K? Bitcoin could reach $1 million one day. Oh yeah, dude. Pump it up, baby. So what do we actually call this? What is this called? Wyckoff pattern.
Distribution. This and you guys have heard me say this before. All of this you're looking at, all this sideways action, all of this is literally them setting you up for the kill. Because it looked like it was going to go up. You know, here's support. Yeah, it looks good, man. But look, support just became resistance right here at 32K. How do you like them apples? Because that was support here. That was support here. 34.5 did the job here.
That was like the level, man. That was like the fucking level. The last one to lose.
Yep. Now there is nothing but air below until we get to 14, 13K. Now, the downside to the potential downside is that now you have the legacy side gurus calling bottoms or projecting when bottoms are going to occur in terms of price. You had Kramer talking about 12,000 at one point. I don't know if he's still sticking to that. And then some other sell side loser was talking about 8,000 and, you know, whatever. All these clowns are going to now try to join the narrative that's been laid out for over a year because they missed it. So now they're going to lower their forecast. Now they're going to do the opposite of what was done over the past 12 months to get you to do what? Not buy Bitcoin. To get you to stay out of the market. To get you to not look at crypto ever again. Because, oh man, that shit's a scam. Fuck crypto. Blah, 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 blah. Because that's how they do you. They get you to play off your emotions. Because you don't think, you don't analyze, you're just reacting. Because you don't have the financial literacy to understand the bare basics of what you should be thinking or doing. And that's okay. But what's not okay is when you decide to stay in that position. Because what happens? Well, it's like this, guys. We all start out as plebs. Or let me rephrase. We all start out as noobs. The difference between a noob and a person like me is that they decide to not stay a noob. A person that decides to stay a noob becomes automatically a pleb. And they permeate everything from Hex outward. You see it all over the space.
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
And of course, Pulse Chain really drug the quality of the community down because it's easy to understand a layer one. There's no science to that. There's science to Hex, though, because it requires math. I mean, you got people out here saying that Hex is going to underperform Pulse Chain just because ETH underperformed Pulse Chain or Bitcoin after it came out. And I mean, that's cute, but Bitcoin ain't Hex. It's superior in every way, shape, or form.
And ETH wasn't Bitcoin.
And ETH wasn't Bitcoin.
That was a weird assessment that was being permeated through the space. And yes to that comment, Kramer is 100% an arm of whatever entity that you want to call this whole thing. But he is the guy that was screaming that Bitcoin's a scam, it's too expensive, wait for it to cool down, while simultaneously making the world's worst calls on every single fucking IPO. If you go back and look at his track record over the last decade, it's embarrassing. You would have had better results throwing darts at a dartboard, truly, and picking stocks that way. And so Buffett, he's in the same camp. He comes out and, he's making his commentary, and all of that is to drive you out of the market, or not even drive you out of the market, but to keep you out of the market. Because at that point, they already knew that they had a problem and that this thing was unstoppable. Let's go back to 2017. They rolled out futures on purpose. The exact commentary was, we'll tame Bitcoin. That was by the head of who was it at the time? The CME or the CBOE?
CME.
I think said that.
CME.
We'll tame
I forgot.
Bitcoin.
I think they got Bitcoin options on CBOE. I don't remember.
They do now. I'm pretty sure they do. But the largest Bitcoin options are on Deribit. I still
no. I think they're CME, isn't it? Yeah, they do got they got futures on CBOE. Why the hell would they have futures there? Nobody trades that shit there. Crazy. I guess they don't have options on Bitcoin on CME. Oh, okay, they do.
Yeah, they got it.
I thought they did. I thought they did. Yeah, I just I don't look at that crap because who cares?
So just to kind of state some.
I got.
You got fucking.
Yeah.
You got fucking. So just to kind of wrap up is so Bitcoin going down is obviously bad for everything else in the space, just because it's the perception, it's all the people being people type shit. So yes, if Bitcoin keeps going down, HEX will go down probably.
Not necessarily, but people will react to it negatively, assuming they're not understanding, right? True. Because we have a plethora of people that are ready to buy. So it might not be the case that it will go down. It could be that it just goes sideways.
And at some point, it's going to stop going down because, like I said, it's going to be the last, however you want to reference it, lighthouse that exists, that's still serving people up and saying what it said it was going to do every single day. So I don't know. I think there's some people in the chat still not fucking understanding what we're talking about. I think we got some wrong people on the stream that came across this. Okay. So, this is the same shit we talk about on every fucking stream, is that at some point there's going to be these big dominoes that start to fall. The dominoes are falling. You're just not noticing it because you're missing the macro picture. And a lot of times we're all missing macro picture, but there's going to be big things that occur and dominoes that eventually fall. And that's when you're going to really know. It's going to be in your face. Oh shit, there it is. And that's when you'll see big prices. Until then, just buy, stake, chill.
Yeah,
understand the protocol.
There's a reason there's a song for it.
Yeah. And just chill. But otherwise, I think you're in the wrong place. I think if that's going to be you're trying to get me or get whales roped in by saying I'm going to try and fucking get a gotcha moment. It's not going to work, guys.
Yeah, I wasn't even watching comments, so it doesn't really matter to me. I mean, people say crazy shit all the time, so it's kind of.
What was I going to say? I was going to say some other shit about what we were talking about earlier, but I just blanked. Yeah. But what we're seeing at a macro level. So I guess we could talk about bottoms. What's the bottom going to look like? Yeah, I think you and I are pretty much in alignment with this. Wouldn't the perfect bottom for crypto be simultaneously rolling out ETFs so that they can paper on top of this and control it forever while they roll out their product? Because any drug dealer is going to do what? He's going to try and suppress the other drug dealers while rolling out his own product at the same time. We've all seen American Gangster. We know how this shit works. So wouldn't it be perfect timing if they rolled out their CBDC at the same time or around the same time as ETFs and regulation getting rolled out? Ooh, trifecta of perfectness, isn't it? Chef's kiss.
That's right.
It'd be fucking perfect.
That's exactly how I expect it to go down, because what's their goal? Their goal is to supplant the USD because they have no other choice. The Federal Reserve note is literally at the end of its road. And I've been saying it for a long time. And how is this becoming evident? Well, look at the cost of your living. And it's not even the dollar, right? The reason I say the dollar is because it's a reserve currency, but it's every fiat unit of account that's tied to the dollar. And guess what? That's the whole damn financial system. Period. All things fiat are tied to the dollar. So that means that everything priced in dollars is going to look ugly because you don't understand what's happening.
Yeah.
It's all math. If you don't grasp that first chart we were showing you, then there is no helping you. You have to really grasp that first chart because it's about understanding that the dollar is the measuring stick. And when that measuring stick is broken, you can no longer measure. So there is no measurement. Thanks for the super chat, Reg. Hope you're doing well, brother.
Oh hell yeah, dude! Fucking legend in the chat.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah, exactly.
let me share some other stuff. Let's just kind of run this point home, I guess. Go ahead and pop that up. Oh yeah, you want to show my screen? There it is. Okay. So purchasing power of $100 since January of 2000, not seasonally adjusted. Right there. Here we are, 2022. About $59, 46 cents. Maybe it's worse. Maybe it's a little better. I mean, who cares? Okay. So this, I think you guys have seen this one. Yeah, I think you guys have seen this one before.
Oh yeah, I've shown that one. That's a good one.
Seen this one, right? A little cleaner version up to 2019. $1 worth about 5 cents, probably less. It's probably negative at this point. We did a dedicated stream on the compound effect of inflation over 20 years and how much it takes away your purchasing power. 32% at the standard 2% rate. But it's not about, and that's what's so funny about this. They've drugged so many people into the game of CPI and inflation now. So it's like, cool. So let's say this month it's 8.5. Oh my gosh, one tick down. Whoo! Bring out the fucking party balloons. Let's say it's 8, 7, 6. Who gives a fuck? It's still over 2. Every minute, every second that it's over 2%, which is the Fed's mandate, by the way. Go to the Federal Reserve fucking website, and they will tell you that their mandate is 2% inflation. Every second that we are over 2% inflation, that is compounding over the next 10, 20, 50 years and completely eroding away your purchasing power. So one of the ways that we fight that, one of the ways that we fight inflation is by putting money in vehicles like HEX that will pay us out. The longer we stake, the bigger we stake. We will be paid and rewarded more, which does nothing for today. Yes, it does absolutely fuck all for right now. But down the road, it pays.
It's going to be major down the road. And that's what's hard about this game, because it's like traveling through time. And time travel is hard for us because we don't grasp how it works. We think it's some shit that sci-fi told us about, but that's not actually how time travel works. And so if you guys don't know, me, Axis, and Orca are going to stream tomorrow, and we'll be talking about how time travel works in that stream. So be sure to tune in for that. But it ties in with how the system really works, right? The system really works in the sense that you have to think of the now in order to be ready for the future. That shit is critical, because this is how you invest in HEX now when it costs nothing, and not buying it at $100 like the rest of the plebs are going to be doing, because they don't want to listen now. They want the mad gains now. They don't want to wait. They want the mad gains now. So what's going to happen? They're going to go from one shitty island with barren soil to another until they finally find utopia, which is HEX. That's what we all do. We're all looking for that next best investment, not realizing, well, for anybody that's in HEX, that this is it. Just because you're not staked don't mean anything. That just means you don't actually understand how HEX works. So you're just holding something that could be anything else. So that's your own fault.
You're being devalued. You're being devalued by the staker class. So you're once again losing. So you're putting yourself in front of the train once again because your own insecurities, hangups, and bullshit.
Correct. Just like, and if you look at the economic system, just look at this chart that Jay has up. All you see here is a one-way train lower into what? 1980. Now, what happened in 1980? The financialization of the economic system became prevalent. And that's what that first chart showed you earlier today. And that's
just slightly different.
That's right.
Just slightly different.
And that's why from that point in time, all you see is the value of the dollar hugging zero, basically from 10 cents on lower, because they can't do anything else at that point.
Because there's nothing behind it.
It's a
paper promise wrapped on top of a paper promise.
That's it.
So it's like a third layer of promise. So it's a Ponzi scheme.
Correct. Because if they're not printing more, then it collapses on itself.
Yep. And so they have to constantly play this game of printing, burning, printing, burning, printing, burning. And now they just are completely off the rails. But, you know, there's a lot of things that changed to the 70s and 80s that people forget. We got taken off the gold standard. We got taken off the oil. Well, because then it kind of went to like oil-backed oil standard for a little while. Like people just kind of assumed that it was backed by that. And then that changed. And now
in fact, people still say that.
Yes.
To this day. That's how illiterate people are. And
so now it's just based off GDP. It's just based off of economic output, hopium, whatever you want to call it. Like,
this is a funny ass comment because it's true. Because that's the whole point of what they're doing. That's exactly right. That's what the Fed did.
And so again, let's look at this chart.
But this is why deflation is bad also, to show the inverse. That's why they don't like deflation, because it increases the purchasing power of the dollar, which defeats the purpose of their goal, which is to have constant growth in power by amassing all the fiat units possible, because they're just making them out of thin air.
Yes, and that's what I was going to say is what do you have? What do you have in your pocket? Dollars. What do they have in their pocket? Fucking land.
Assets. Real assets.
Yes.
And this was the point of this stream, is to talk about that.
Yeah, we came full circle now.
Right. So if you find yourself to be in a position where you're an accredited investor and can invest in real assets, reach out to Kinetics, because we're sourcing deals that are going to help people position themselves. Because here's the thing. It's not about having all your money in crypto. It's about being positioned comfortably. If for you it's all crypto, then that's what you do. But if for you it's a mix of crypto and real assets, then we also are taking care of that as well. Because it's about helping people find that financial freedom, not get sandbagged with BS, which is what the central bankers are trying to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so recently, I think he got linked up with a really solid pipeline of opportunities. So if you're in that and you want to get involved in like real estate and that piece,
real assets, just real assets. Just hit up Kinetics.
Hit him up. But that's just another way that he's like serving up the community is even right now. You know, like it's just amazing how some of these pieces fall together. But I don't know. Like in the chat, tell us, have we now made the point? We're an hour and 7 minutes in. Have we now beaten this drum enough? I kind of feel like you could say the same shit for the next 100 years, and there would still be a ton of people who don't get it.
Oh yeah,
I hate that. I fucking hate that. Just can't talk about it. Yeah, that's a good point. Actually, he can talk about this, but just one-on-one.
Yeah, he can't talk about this. Yeah, just one-on-one. We can't stream about this stuff. It's just like talking about the trust, right? We can't really talk about the trust outside of what you guys already know about Hex, because that's really just how it works.
Well, and like, I want to say this: would you really want to hear about this shit on a stream, on a public fucking stream like this? You want to hear about off market deals that are like back pocket deals? Like, no, dude, they're not a back pocket deal at that point. Like the minute that you read about fucking real estate being for sale in Costa Rica, it's because that's the shittiest land. You realize that, right? Like, yeah, if the neighbor didn't buy it, or the 10 people down the block didn't buy it, or his cousin, his brother, his sister, his mother didn't fucking buy it, and now it's in a book, offshore investment book, and you're hearing about this real estate deal, you're the sucker, dude.
100%.
And that's the point we make often too, is that like right now, you ain't gonna hear Jim Cramer talk about Hex until it's just $1,000, and then he's gonna be telling everyone to buy. When did everyone tell you to buy Ripple? On public television, on CNBC Fast Money, they brought it up, and I think Ripple was $3.60 or $3.80.
I remember it, 17 cents.
There it is.
I remember that. $3.17.
$3.17. Buy Ripple. Holy fuck! Could you imagine that?
Yep.
They got a fucking pride flag on their logo, on their Twitter logo this month. That tells you everything you need to know. Stop it. That tells you everything you fucking need to know. If you're still holding that, you're fucking stupid. It's that simple.
I mean, that's something that it's it's probably the most important statement made during the stream.
Like, holy cow, dude.
Because what's happening? Well, what's happening is that we've reached a terminal point, and it's hard for people to understand, right? And again, this is why we're talking about real assets in crypto. They are the real assets. Crypto has automatically put itself in that category. Now, the hard part for the layman is realizing that the dollar doesn't matter. No fiat unit of account matters because it's replaceable.
Yep.
It's just a unit of account.
And to take that a step further, okay, let's play through the doomsday. Let's play it through, because I think a lot of times people don't play things through to the finish line.
Sure.
Okay, all the fiat goes away. What do you think they would revert back to if they had to? Nothing else can replace it. Oh my God, Bitcoin, nobody wants to use that anymore. Fiat's gone. What are they going to revert value back to? Real assets. Gold, silver, land. Most importantly, land. What is the thing that you'll be able to still take to the bank and get fucking loans off of? The deed to your land. Okay, there you go.
Hint, 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 hint.
There you go. There you go. There it is.
Right.
Yeah, dude. And why do you think everyone's trying to stretch the value of HEX and get you to loan on top of loan on top of loan and paper on top of it with all these other coins and all these other entities? And look, a lot of this looks great, but it's going to keep going. So like there's 50,000 things stacked on top of the core value of HEX. Why is that happening? Because it's a real asset. That's the realest asset that exists in the digital crypto space. It's based off of it's based off of math and a smart contract that, that you can't fuck with. You can't shut it off. You can't shut it down. So because of that, it operates in a similar class as real assets do. That's why we can say that. So understand, I'm not making a stretch when I call it a real asset, because what it's based on is math and a smart contract, and you can't shut it off, and it can't be stopped, and it can't be altered. Because of that, we can now treat it the same way that you can treat these other things, like art, a one of one, a collectible, a boat, land, etc.
I'm sorry, I'm just laughing at these comments. First is D with, we will never revert to a barter system. Bread for hand jobs? I refuse. And then Alan follows up, real asset, for sure. I mean, it's so easy to talk about it, but it's hard to understand, because when you look at real estate markets, they almost seem impossible because of the process to even acquire a piece of real estate. No matter where you go, it's different. Every country and state, if you live in the US, has different parameters and this and that and all this stuff. Like, like we get it. It's not easy, and this is why we rehash everything on these streams over and over and over.
Well, also too, it's not sexy. Like it was a very concerning thing, comment that I got recently. I don't know where it was. It was one of the big Bitcoin guys. I think he's the guy that wrote the Bitcoin Standard book. I can't remember his name. And he made some comment that like Bitcoin has outperformed everything and basically fuck everything, but hold Bitcoin. And wow, is that a dangerous precedence to set? And there was all kinds of people in the comments, of course, cheerleading this. Yeah. The yes men, of course. And I commented, and I was just like, yo, bro, like, what about fucking land though? And then the comment that got more likes than mine was the response. And it was, oh yeah. Let me buy $100 worth of land. That was the comment, dude. We're in fucking trouble.
Yeah,
we're in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're at a point to where it's not sexy, it's not popular to own land, but also too, there's a fundamental lack of understanding of what assets are. Like, what are you holding? You don't even know. You think you're holding an asset, but you could be holding just a speculation, an equity, a liability.
A stock or a bond is a stock is a liability, a bond not so much, because in that instance you're a creditor. However, once the entity that owes you money cannot pay you because they don't have anything of value to pay you in, then it becomes a liability because you just have counterparty risk. That's when liability risk is a non-factor and counterparty risk becomes a factor. because you are the creditor. And this is why creditors look at your credit history, your payment history, etc., etc., because they have the assets. You are the counterparty to that asset. So even though they lent you money and you owe them money and they're the ones in the position of power, just like you've seen all the BitConnect, all the rehash of the BitConnects fail over the past month, Celsius, Voyager, whatever, because there's been so many, I don't even know. And yes, I'm going to ask guys as well if anybody's wondering, because people like to ask some questions. Um, the fact remains that all of those things were Ponzi's. That's what a Ponzi looks like, guys. So for all you dumb fucks out there calling Hex a Ponzi, go study all of those things that just failed, because Hex is not going to fail.
Let's cover one. I got a story for you right here. BlockFi went from $30 trillion valuation to $1 trillion, and they just got refinanced essentially and got another round of funding for just $300 million.
So
trillion. Sorry, billion. So $1 billion
99%, a 99% reduction in valuation, basically.
Correct. So they went from 30 billion to 1 billion. So and again, so it brings back the point is, like, would you ever take that big of a hit on land if all goes to shit? Is one Bitcoin still one Bitcoin? Are people going to still accept that? And what's the value of that when there's no value assigned? It's no longer denominated in the US dollar.
It's ugly. That's what.
But what's the value? What's the value of a savings account, a CD, a true measure unit of account and measurement of value? That stays about the same. So, I mean, I would argue even in that scenario that if I've got this vehicle that I've got X amount of T shares and I can prove that T shares equal this much and T shares are still going up. And at the end of that, right, we're expected to have this much left and this much of the thing, depending on the timeline and the time horizon of that, like, that is still insanely valuable. Because we can measure that value. Do you see? In the same way we can measure the value of the land, we can measure the value here. So how come we just saw a real example of an entity that owns billions of dollars of Bitcoin? It's a custodian of billions of dollars of Bitcoin, was able to go from a 30 billion valuation to 1 billion in less than 2 years. That was less than a year. How is that possible? It's not the value that you thought it was, first off.
Correct.
That is what is very obvious, very true. It's not what you thought it was. And so, just in case people aren't up to speed, is CoinFlex had to get bailed out. Voyager got bailed out by FTX. A small Canadian exchange got bailed out by FTX. I think Goldman's putting together a deal right now that they're trying to buy some of this distressed debt. And there's a few others that essentially FTX propped up and bailed out. CZ refuses to bail out any exchanges or companies. He won't be getting involved, but FTX seems to be scooping up a lot of assets right now.
Well, FTX is trying to become the Goldman of crypto in many ways, right? Because what are they doing? They're trying to do...
Yeah, they're trying to float a deal to buy Robinhood.
That's right. They're trying to do all the things that Goldman did when they could do it in their heyday.
Mm-hmm. And they will.
And they will.
I mean, they got the sloppy, overweight, curly haired, founder. They got
that came out of nowhere. That came out of nowhere and is a genius. And of course, his name is Sam Bankman-Fried, because why wouldn't it be?
Well, of course, why wouldn't it be?
Perfect character name, isn't it?
Yeah, of course.
You gotta be a fool to believe that bullshit is real. And I've been talking about that since I first came up on it.
Yeah, dude. We've been calling that shit out for a minute. And I caught mad flack for that in the beginning when Sam was everyone's fucking hero in it.
Fuck everybody and their fake ass fucking knowledge base of crypto. If this past 3 months have not showed you that all these people you're out here following and watching don't know a damn thing about anything, then it's your own fault. And I don't even give a rat's ass about you, because there is no helping you anyway. You're just ultimately going to be wrecked because you think you understand, but what you're doing is following fools that do not, and you're not actually educating yourself, because nobody on these channels is telling you what to do, think, say, or whatever. but we're providing you with valuable information that can help you make the proper assessment for your financial future. And that's the difference between a furu and a damn pro.
We could show this. So the common topic that people have been talking about is QT, QE, and QT, quantitative easing, quantitative tightening, and of course, everyone's been claiming that we're tightening.
Yep.
Jay, you don't understand. We're tightening. No, they're still buying. They're still buying, guys. MBs, MBs are still 40 to 60 million. Yeah, I think so. 40 to 60 million.
Remember, there was a day where MBS went bid. I had to do a stream on it because it was that important. Because what happens? What happens is that maybe MBS becomes a new ABS market. Remember ABS? No? You don't remember asset-backed securities? That market no longer exists, sir.
Gone.
Long gone.
Repo markets are still popping the fuck off.
But why? Because they are required. They're like the stable coins of the crypto market, of the fake crypto market. That's what repo is. Money markets, repo, that's literally the stable coin nexus of the fake crypto market. They're there to prop up all the bullshit. This is why you saw the pump in BNB and all them coins that don't make no sense.
$600 BNB. How the fuck? How is that? How is that ever possible? So here we go. And again, I know people are going to be like zooming in, like, yeah, no, look, it's down. Zooming in.
Well, you know what's funny? You'll hear these Federal Reserve folks saying, yeah, quantitative tightening, but the fact is that what they say doesn't matter. You need to look at their books. The accounting is what gives away what they're actually doing. Correct.
Actions over words.
That's right. Every day of the week. Every day of the week.
So no, it hasn't started. And I think that they're going to massively have a problem here to where we're going to see deflation.
Well, I think if they try to pull off what we think the bottom is going to look like, they're going to run into some problems. And that is when that deflation is going to hit and when they're going to lose, because who's going to really interact with CBDC? Only the people that don't know that they shouldn't interact with CBDC. Correct.
So we need a good marketing campaign or capital controls.
All right, let me help this guy out. If you've never done a real estate transaction before, yes, it is complicated because you don't have a fucking clue.
Oh no, it is. The sheer amount of fucking paperwork that you got to fill out for a mortgage should be an indicator of how hard it is to buy a real asset like that.
Yeah, if how hard is it? Go ahead, brother.
I was just gonna say, how hard is it to expatriate now from the U.S.? Does anyone know? They won't fucking let you. They won't process your paperwork. You have to pay $2,500 now. I think.
And that's depending on your net worth. It depends on your net worth, sir.
Yes, exit tax. And then on top of that, you got to do an exit interview. Why? Why would they make it like that if they didn't give a fuck if you came or went?
Exit.
It's just another form of capital control.
That's right.
They're going to fuck you in the ass on the way out, too.
They fuck you on the way in and on the way out. Now, for a person that has no clue, that's who I'm talking to. If you are tired of doing real estate, then clearly this shit does not apply to you. Why would it?
Yeah, I mean, I think fucking real estate is extremely hard to do. I don't know. I mean, maybe this guy's just done it for so long that it's easy for him, but
it depends where you reside. That's the point.
Yes.
Every jurisdiction is not the same, and this is the shit that people got to understand. Stop speaking from your own point of view, because your point of view is irrelevant in the grand scheme of things.
And and there's such a dramatic difference between, like, also too, even within the U.S., getting a deal done in Tennessee in the middle of fucking nowhere versus in downtown LA, very different experiences.
Precisely.
But then if we just open up our geographic, spread a little further, getting a deal done in the U.S. versus Australia, fucking come on, dude. They're not even comparable.
Yeah, I mean, and this is the thing. Like, it's easy to talk from your point of view, but your point of view is irrelevant when you're talking to everybody. And as a person that's quote unquote at the podium, I ain't talking to you. I'm talking to everybody. So that's the whole point.
I mean, maybe we're not your cup of tea, bro. That's cool. Move on.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't fucking matter. That's what, turning the shit off is for.
Yeah.
So again, if that specific nexus of the topic is clearly basic for you, then ignore it and keep doing what you're doing because it doesn't apply.
Oh, just start a YouTube channel, man. Like,
or that, yeah, sure.
I think that'd be a good place for you.
I love people talking shit to me on Twitter and in the chat, but yet they continue to share no knowledge or valuable information whatsoever. Criticize yet nexusize no knowledge, yet provide no knowledge or value to the community at all. Like, ain't nobody giving a fuck about that. So whatever. But
what else we got?
Yeah. I mean, it's just, again, real assets. That's where we're at. And HEX is involved in that bucket. And I've been talking about it for a year.
Yeah.
So understand the big picture, or, get wrecked by holding fiat units of account. It's pretty much your choice at this point. So good luck.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the thing that gets rugged. Is equities will get rugged. Holding fiat will get rugged.
Everything that's denominated in fiat by default will get rugged because it's denominated in fiat. That's why what it is itself matters. That's why you got to hold units of the HEX Investment Trust, because that's backed by HEX, not some thinly veiled promise of air. That's why you got to hold HEX or T-shares. That's why you got to hold real assets. You got to have things that are going to actually be worth something when all hell breaks loose.
Yeah, I think that you see like a commentary like that. I just think it's people being triggered because we're talking about shit that nobody really likes to admit or face.
Yeah,
but like so you always fall back to the level of training that you've got. Okay, you always fall back to the level of training that you got. So if you want to pretend like none of this is possible and that we're just talking shit up here and we've got no facts, even though we show chart after chart every motherfucking week, that's cool. But just understand that, like, so who's the one with the issue? Is that a me issue or a you issue?
Correct.
And so that's true for every stream that we do. We always will have people that get triggered in the comments. It's just part of the game, guys. And so I would just ask that, like, when you calm down from all that, the trigger is that, like, you need to look at yourself, because you're getting triggered off of shit, your own insecurities, and trying to then present that to us as some sort of fact or data point that's like trapping us.
Yeah, and it's not one.
It's just painting very clearly to everyone who's paying attention where your boundaries and soft points are. That's it. And that's cool. That's fine.
But we all got to grow, because we all start out as people that are in transition one way or the other.
Yeah.
So,
last comment. Did someone say cheap sex? You start talking fast. It sounds like that, don't it?
Yeah, we had a little bot in the chat. That's what it was. One of them web. Remember that web TV?
Oh, there it is. I see.
Yeah, webcam chat. I don't remember who it was.
Without fail, that's almost on every time, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Oh, yeah, dude. That's also like, so let's just kind of state a few things. Like that's the power and value of this community too, though. Like the underlying community, and specifically the community that you've built up, which is a subsect in the HEX community, is that like these are clearly the people that show up are clearly people who want they want more information. They recognize that something is going on. They might not fully understand what's going on, but they're seeing it happening. They're hearing a bunch of people talking stuff that doesn't really make sense, or they're just not buying it. And that's from the top on down, and they're looking for alternative sources of information. That should never be criticized, by the way. Regardless if you agree with what we say or what other people say, is alternative means of information is always good. The public narrative and beating around the drum of like these fake storylines,
this dude is definitely a furu, whoever this guy is. Just be gone, bro. You just a lame. You just blocked. This motherfucker had the nerve to call me a fucking grifter. Bitch, get the fuck out of here. You a piece of shit, bro. Straight up. I don't even give a fuck who you are. You're just a piece of shit. The nerve of somebody calling me a grifter. Fuck out of here, bro. You don't fucking know me. Go suck a dick.
Yeah, that's actually really insulting. Wow.
It's extremely insulting.
What we
out
do
of here, bro. Clearly doesn't know what the fuck a grifter is.
Yeah. Holy
fucking
shit,
cocksucker. Incredible. But anyway, it's about understanding where you're at in the game and learning how to play. If you don't know the rules of the game, you're just gonna get played, and that's how it works.
Yeah, essentially. So, Yeah, I think that's all I got.
Yeah, I mean, I think we laid out everything pretty nicely within 90 minutes. Real assets over everything. If you're looking to, again, allocate fiat units to real assets that are physical, reach out to Ken. Otherwise, you know where Hex is. It's all the same.
And this is what we got to do. Just keep growing, keep challenging yourself, keep like those assumptions that you've got, the ego that creeps up. Like we have to keep beating that down so we can get down to a more pure level of ourselves.
That's right.
That's it.
We gotta play the game because it's our game to play, and we can't play it by their rules. We gotta play it by our rules because that's why crypto exists.
Yeah, 100%.
So that's pretty much all I got, man. If you got anything else, we can wrap it up.
No, let's end it there.
Nice.
Thanks, guys, for tuning in. Appreciate you.
Yeah, you guys be easy, and don't forget, everybody done told you, right? The reality is that I want to be rich as fuck. There's only one way to be rich as fuck. That's by sitting on your ass the longest.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
That's the secret. The guy well told you. Richard done told you. I done told you. Kareem done told you. Maddie done told you. Everybody done told you. Everybody done told you. Shit, motherfuckers still acting like they don't know. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
100% safe. There's plenty of games left.
Valiant done told you. Yo, everybody said it. I mean, hey, you know what it is, man? Everybody done told you. Y'all's deep. Everybody. My God. Ex-Asians, bro. Everybody. Australians, man. Everybody gets it. Yo, Wendy's done told you. Dollar Cost done told you.